The option of taking your test from home is one of the best things introduced in the study abroad spectrum. GMAT, TOEFL, DET are some of these tests that you can take online. However, the online English proficiency tests have their own rules that you have to keep in mind to make sure your test is not invalid. Now, before I move ahead, I want to talk about English tests. And if I compare English proficiency tests that you can take online, my clear winner is Duolingo English Test. And that's why I love their hoodie. That's why I talk about them, yap about them all day. Because with DET, you're just paying 1/4 of the cost of an English test, allowing you to save more money, which can be used for your other study abroad checklist. At the end of the day, it's just an English proficiency test. You should not be paying tons and tons loads of money. Another big advantage of Duolingo English Test is you can take this exam anytime and anywhere. What I mean is, even though TOEFL can be taken from home, it still has restrictions such as being available only 4 days a week at fixed time slots. So in case your test becomes invalid, you will have to wait for the next date. But not for Duolingo English Test. You can book it anytime and give it anywhere. And yes, no matter which test you take, it's important to follow the basic rules of that test. Now, these basic rules you have to follow. Otherwise, your exam will get invalidated. Now, I'm not saying that every student who gets their test invalidated is trying to cheat. Now, unknowingly, you might break a rule or fall short of one. Even in this case, you're still going to lose time and money, so it's better to be safe than sorry, and that's why you're watching this video. So without further ado, let's directly jump into it.
Let's talk about the top 5 mistakes that you should avoid while taking the Duolingo English test.
First reason why a lot of students end up losing their test scores is because they start looking away from the screen for too long or too often. This is number one reason for tests being invalidated. I get that distractions happen, but during the test, it's essential to stay focused on your screen. Imagine I'm taking the test right now and I start looking this way. And then I am typing. So let's suppose this was supposed to be my laptop screen. I was supposed to be looking here. I'm looking there. My exam would obviously be cancelled, right? So you don't have to look away. You can look one or twice. So if I'm giving my test, I can do this and then come back. But if I'm continuously looking away or I'm distracted multiple number of times, the chances of your exam getting cancelled are higher. So make sure that you're looking towards the screen all throughout. Yes, looking away one or twice, 5 or 6 times is also fine, but then continuously making it a habit, that is very, very spooky. That is one thing you have to make sure that you don't do. If you look away too often or for too long, it might look that you're seeking help or reference notes. So let's suppose I have notes there. And if I keep looking there, that means there are some notes. You have to understand it from the perspective of the people who are making this test. They have to make sure that there's no cheating happening. That's why you have to look towards the screen. And one best tip that I received was to sit in front of a wall so that you have no distractions or minimum distractions. So let's suppose here in the background, I have a whiteboard. If I'm giving my exam like this and there is nothing to see over here, I would be less distracted and my focus would be on my laptop. That is what you have to do. Your focus should only be on your laptop. So make sure the ball behind your laptop is plain so that there's nothing to see. Second, your responses might seem scripted. This one is tricky, but hear me out. It's a common reason why tests get flagged. If your answers sound rehearsed or scripted, it could raise red flags for the proctor. Now imagine me talking to you and me saying, the Duolingo English test is all about showing your authentic language. So make sure to avoid natural responses, avoid memorizing entire phrases or essays. Trust your preparation, stay calm. Now I just said this line. And if I have to say this again, I could have said, this one's tricky and it's a common reason why tests get flagged. If your answers sound rehearsed or scripted, then Duolingo English test or any other test. When there's no voice modulation, there is a highly likely chance that they think that the answers are scripted. So you have to make sure that there is some sort of voice modulation. Trust me, you can remember a few answers, but then the way you present it matters a lot, and that tells a lot about whether it has been prepared before or not. Because this, what I'm saying right now, this has been prepared, but the way I'm presenting it does not look like it, right? So that is what you have to make sure when you're giving your test. A pure gold tip that I can give you: stop memorizing your phrases, stop memorizing your essays. Have a general idea what you're going to talk about. That's about it. Because when you memorize, the chance of you messing up, if you have a script that you want to say and you want to say it word to word, is much more than if you have a general idea what you're going to talk about and then talking about on the fling. If your face isn't clearly visible, so right now I'm giving an exam, and when you take your test from home, think of yourself as the star and you should be in the middle, in the spotlight. If you're here, They would never know if you're cheating or not. And again, stay in a well-lit room. If you have lights, use those lights. Don't stay in a dark room, because this is one more reason why a lot of exams get cancelled. Either you're in a dingy room where there is no lighting and the proctor cannot see you, or you're not even in the camera frame. I mean, you can't see my eyes right now. Am I looking at the camera? Am I looking at the sink behind me? Am I looking at the trophies on that side? You have no idea. So that's why stay in the middle. Another reason a lot of exams get cancelled are because of these amazing things. The proctor does not want to see you like this. He does not want to see you like this. And even these are the sneaky things that you have in your room which you can put in your ears. The proctor does not want to see any of those. And if they do see any of those, there's a highly likely chance that your exam might just get cancelled. Now, don't get me wrong. Spies do wear hats, earpieces, and yes, they look good. But on your exam, a very good tip is to not use them. The proctor wants to see your eyes without any distraction, and also the ears to be open. These things, even if there is like a small spy thing, try to avoid them. There's a highly likely chance that your exam might just get cancelled if you're trying to be smart. Fifth reason, and that's somehow all.
Murad, what are you doing?
Someone enters your room while you're taking the exam. The rule remains constant. No one can enter the room during the exam. If someone walks in, even for a second, your exam could get flagged for invalidation. To avoid this, let everyone know at your home, even your mother. I know I love my mother, but she makes sure that she comes into my room. And do tell her that I'm giving my exam, please do not disturb me. And the best thing is, lock the door and tell them, chill, everything is fine, I'm gonna give my exam. I know my mother never agrees of me closing my door, locking my room, but you just have to explain that for this 1 or 2 hours, I'm gonna do that. Whatever you tell me, that's not gonna fly, because for these 1 or 2 hours, I'm gonna lock my room. So make sure to tell everyone in your family to not come in your room. Now if you have figured out which English proficiency test to give, and now you're confused which country to study in, you might wanna watch this video. In this video, I explain in detail what all countries are your options, where you can study, and everything. Just one video that you have to watch and you get all the details. Click, click, click.